Hello, hello.
Why, hello. Oh,
Oh, is
we're
that?
getting an emergency alert.
Oh, what's happening
There's a flash flood warning in effect in my area.
in your area? Well, you better get up to high ground.
I'm on the third floor. I'm not worried about it. Whoa, take it easy.
Good Lord.
Okay. All right.
All
There
right.
is a storm going on, so if we lose power, it's not personal.
Okay, I do think we need to say for everybody who's listening to this on the podcast, you're safe. Nothing is going on right now because this was pre-recorded.
Yes.
And you're all going to be just if you're listening to this, you made it through.
That was not your emergency.
Yeah. So everything's good. You've got a very moody thing going on there, lighting wise, and
Do I?
yeah, I like it.
It's nighttime.
Oh, okay. It's daytime here. I feel like I'm a little bright.
Well, it's we can't do anything about the sun. I'm sorry. It does what it does.
It does what it does. It doesn't pay any attention to us.
No.
It doesn't pay us any mind. So how are you?
How am I? I'm okay. I'm all right. Had a rough week. We lost our cat. Our cat Cagney passed away this week. About a week ago. My good buddy. 18 years.
Wow,
old.
That's rough.
And he was he was my compadre. And it was rough saying goodbye, and it's been a rough week that way. But
he's made some appearances on the show.
He's made appearances here. He's been very vocal about his feelings about certain episodes of this, and he's also been he's made guest appearances on P for Paranormal, the other podcast I do. He's kind of well known over there.
I think it's called Rated P for Paranormal, isn't it?
It's called Rated P for Paranormal. We call it P for Paranormal or P
for Paranormal. I think is a whole different show. We don't.
Well, we'd like to get some of their audience too. We'll take anybody. So anyway, other than that, we're fine. Everything is okay. How are you?
I'm good. My first in-person class in a year and a half yesterday, back at Dodge College of Film and Media Arts, and it was really nice to be back in the classroom with enthusiastic students. Fully masked, mask mandate, vaccination mandate. Everybody's being safe and behaving themselves, but it was really nice to be back there and talking movies with enthusiastic students.
Oh, you're doing you're teaching movies. I thought you were doing horticulture, and you're doing film. You're teaching film.
I teach film at Chapman. Yeah, I'm not in the ag school.
Okay, sorry.
If I was in the ag school, they'd be in real trouble.
That was my mistake.
Yeah,
I do apologize.
So, another sad note that actually you informed me of, that we lost Sonny Chiba the past 2 weeks.
Did that happen since I guess that happened since we did our last show.
Yeah, and
that was a sad loss. Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, the great Hattori Hanzo in Kill Bill, and also Street Fighter in the Street Fighter movies in the 70s, I believe.
I believe so.
Yeah.
He's a big star. We lost. He was a big loss.
Yeah. So that was sad. You watching anything noteworthy?
Let's see. Yeah, we watched a couple of fun things. We got hooked into that show, Brand New Cherry Flavor, which is a Netflix show with Catherine Keener. And that was a lot of fun. It's a real scary, spooky kind of black comedy about LA in the 90s. And like that, we've been enjoying this show, The Chair, which is I forget. I think it's on Amazon.
Okay.
Think.
Yeah. All right. Academic shenanigans.
Yeah, it's about the difficulties of navigating the academia today from a lot of different perspectives.
Yeah,
Sandra Oh is the star of it with Jay Duplass and great cast, including our old friend Holland Taylor, who just knocks this out of the park. She gives one of the funniest performances in a long time.
And Bobby Balaban.
And Bob Balaban is in it and
Yeah.
wonderful on it. Really great on it. I mean, it's really well written. Written by Amanda Peet, or co-written by Amanda Peet, the actress. I didn't know that she was a writer. She's really good. The show's so well written.
Yeah, she's pretty wonderful. I like her work too.
Me too. I think she's great. I just didn't know she had other aspirations in the business, but man, she's really really good.
Well, that's great. I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
I've watched the first couple of episodes of The White Lotus. Have you seen any of that?
No, okay. I'm confused because there's two shows that I get mixed up right now that are on. One is about a group of people that go to a hotel, and another is about a group of people that go to a retreat.
Right.
And I don't know which is which.
Okay. The White Lotus is the hotel.
Okay.
Connie Britton, Steve Zahn, and Nine Strangers is the retreat with Nicole Kidman.
And Bobby Cannavale.
And Bobby Cannavale.
Others. Okay.
Yes. So have you watched the first episode of The White Lotus?
No, I've not seen that show.
Well, I look forward to you seeing the first episode. Steve Zahn, let me just say, Steve Zahn's entrance.
Okay.
Into the show.
Memorable things happen?
A memorable thing happens.
Oh. That sounds like a single entendre.
It is. It is a single entendre. It's sort of wow.
Is it going to win awards for prosthetic makeup?
I'm hoping. I sincere, 'tis a consummation devoutly to be wished.
Okay.
Let me put it that way. If it was me playing that role, there would be prosthetics.
There would be Academy Awards for prosthetics.
Prosthetics and green screen.
Yes.
And animatronics and stop motion photography.
Right.
And CGI. Everything they've ever invented would be used for that scene.
And heavy security on set at the time.
Yes.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it.
Xanax too, probably.
Definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Nine Strangers show?
No, I haven't.
I watched the pilot of that, and I guess I'll continue. I don't know. I might. I might do that. Not being non-committal is good. The middle way. The middle way, exactly.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it? I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Doesn't make for scintillating podcasting, but
you mean just sort of meh?
Yeah, it's good.
What did they talk about? Oh, it was an hour and a half of them saying, yeah, it was okay.
Of them being indecisive.
Yeah. Well, we have a movie to talk about tonight.
We do, and luckily we're actually talking about the film we said we'd talk about.
We are a week late.
But still at least the right movie.
Right. And as far as I'm concerned, there's going to be no indecisiveness or hemming and hawing about this movie on my part.
Okay.
I don't know about you.
There's really
definite feelings about it.
I do too. I do too. Maybe not as passionate as yours, perhaps. I don't know.
Okay.
But definite.
Okay. I had never seen this movie.
Oh, really?
I had never seen this movie.
Oh, okay. Well,
and didn't know, and my preconception of it
was wrong.
was completely wrong. I thought it was somehow in my head, the apartment got conflated with something like Plaza Suite.
I got
It
you.
was going to be a Neil Simon-y, oh, wacky doors opening and people showing
More
up.
farcical, or
Yes.
yeah.
So
Did you
that,
know it was a Billy Wilder movie?
Yes,
Okay.
I did because I saw his name on the opening credits when the movie started.
All right, but you did before that. You didn't know.
I didn't know, and I will confess to not being incredibly converse with the Billy Wilder oeuvre.
But you speak French beautifully.
So who cares? Yeah.
Does that mean egg?
Yes.
I'm just trying to learn.
I'm not very familiar with Billy Wilder's egg.
Well, I'm not either. So that must be what you said.
Yeah.
That's exciting. I mean, this is a genuine classic. It's classic, great film of its kind, and it's a kind of unique in a way too. So there's not. It isn't what you think it's going to be. And I had seen it before, but I haven't seen it in a while. So
Should we give a thumbnail? Should we give a thumbnail sketch of the movie?
Sure. Do you want to take a crack at it? Tell people
Jack,
what it is.
Jack Lemmon plays C.C. Baxter, who works in is it an insurance? Yeah, it's an insurance company, right? Which is mammoth.
36,000 employees in the building.
Yes, and he is an up and comer. He really wants to climb up the corporate ladder in this insurance company, and is doing so by loaning out the key to his apartment to. Let's just get it right out of the way that this is not a #MeToo friendly movie. It takes place.
I mean, I think it actually kind of is, but it
takes place in a world before any of but
it does take that world to task, but you do need to sit through behavior that's inconceivable today in the workplace. But
so he's loaning out his key to senior executives who can help him get a leg up, who are using his apartment for their infidelities. And it's on an almost nightly basis, and he has to juggle the schedule, and he has to stay out of his apartment at night while they're engaging in their shenanigans. And then there is a elevator operator played by Shirley MacLaine, who it turns out is, unbeknownst to Jack Lemmon, having an affair with the president of the company, who we didn't know was that kind of guy, played by Fred MacMurray, who never seems like that kind of guy. And complications ensue.
Yes. Kind of Shakespearean twists and turns of it. I mean, it's such a beautifully constructed script and story, and and its tone is so unique. I bet that's one of the things you weren't expecting, was that it actually isn't a comedy, really. It has a light comedic approach to a lot of things, but it's dealing with some really heavy issues and some real heartbreak and
attempted suicide.
Yeah, I mean there are things in this that are really it's pretty fearless.
Yeah,
and
but the way that it vacillates back and forth between goofy comedy at times and then just real pathos and serious, the depth of the seriousness of the Shirley MacLaine storyline, and it does it with great facility. It never feels jarring, like, oh, how did we get here? Oh wait, how did we get back to funny? Oh wait, how did we get back to serious? Yeah, I
Yeah.
never felt that way.
The humor in it really just kind of seems to be there to point up how tragic it is, really. Or, and that's not to say it's a tragedy. It is a light mood. It's got a light mood throughout. You can watch this without feeling like you're going to go to bed depressed or anything like that.
Right.
And so that should be said. But and it also doesn't treat these serious issues. The movie takes on a much more somber tone when dealing with it, so it's not like it takes them lightly.
Not at all. It doesn't take the suicide lightly at all.
And it's I think it's also a really great indictment of like an early indictment of corporate culture, and that, especially that kind of, Ivy League good old boy network of corporate culture that seems to entrap people into lifestyles like this. Because he's, CC Baxter's he's entrapped himself, and that's one of the things about Billy Wilder characters, is that they often they're very flawed people. I mean, it's interesting to meet Jack Lemmon. I think, like in most comedies, particularly comedies today, the easy move for writers and the screenwriter would be to be there for the first time he's asked to do this with the key, right?
Right.
So he's a completely likable guy who's caught off guard by this request, and then we see the whole story of him giving, starting to give the apartment over, and then what happens. But this movie has the courage to drop us into the middle of a situation where Jack Lemmon's already doing this. His life is already kind of messed up because of it, and he kind of feels like a schmuck. He kind of is. I mean, he is a schmuck. He's just really in a compromised position as a person and as a character, and we're dropped right into it, which I think is really, really brave. And I think,
but he also wants to be doing it because he wants to use it to he has no compunction whatsoever about beating out other people who are working as hard as he is, or maybe harder, and have been there longer than when he gets that promotion. And that poor guy has been there longer than him.
Yeah,
he's got no compunction about la di da di da di da da. See you all later.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's part of the problem. He's we got a compromised person who then, when they learn something, because he does kind of learn some heavy life lessons in it, and they feel earned, because the movie doesn't spend all this time like setting him up as this great guy who then just happens to have this weird situation and then supposedly learn something to breathe. No, it's a long film. It's like good 2 hours. Yep. And he really does kind of change through the course of the movie. So what do you, for me, I go, what was the biggest takeaway for you? What like, you're walking away from this the first time seeing it. Is there one element of it that's just like you're walking away going, this was the big surprise, or this is the big thing for me?
Well, I think we touched on it already, which was the way it had the courage to not be one thing. Which I think a lot of times I think if you tried to make a movie like this today, I think you'd be running into a lot of network or studio executives saying, well, but yeah, what is it? What's the tone? That they would want it to be a more readily identifiable tone. And much the way, something like a movie like Casablanca has the, or It's a Wonderful Life, goes back and forth. And I love those because life goes back and forth. In the midst of tragedy, something can happen that makes you start laughing. And so this movie has the courage to have that kind of scope, which I didn't expect.
Right.
And
Right.
and even in another movie I'd put in there that people laugh at me because I love it so much, which is Joe versus the Volcano, which has just, completely absurd and then very moving, mixed and right next to each other.
Yeah. But honestly, so not like there's a lot of comedies that like make a mad grab for pathos in the middle of the story for reasons that are beyond me. Like there's just certain modern comedies that feel like it's necessary to have 20 minutes of like moralizing,
Right.
but it's not really earned, and the characters don't really seem to be real enough to absorb any of that. But here you've got characters that are well drawn enough so that it's not just, it's not just ridiculous, and he does get away with it. It almost reminds me of like Bong Joon-ho's stuff in the way that like Parasite is really hard to pin down in terms of tone. Particularly the Korean films from the last 10 years are known for that style of like, they go from screwball comedy to to tragedy to black comedy and satire, and it manages to work, and it works, but you have to have a lot of control over it. That's the thing,
with Parasite, what you're talking about, that moment where the unbelievably dark stuff is happening, and then the housekeeper, I think it's the housekeeper, kicks the person down the stairs.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I've laughed that hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I screamed
it's
and
so
laughed.
It's hysterical,
and it's horrible,
and
all
totally
at the same
wrong.
time.
Yeah. So have you seen other Billy Wilder movies? I'm sure you've seen other stuff, just maybe didn't know was Billy Wilder. Like, because this is very much like, I feel like this is Billy Wilder's kind of thing. Like, he really does this well.
Well, I teach at a film college, so I have to say I've seen all of Billy Wilder's movies.
Well, he's not the hippest filmmaker to talk. Like, he's not like on everybody's mind all the time, but he was a big deal.
I know. I don't know that I've seen. Go ahead.
Well, you saw Some Like It Hot, right?
No, I haven't seen Some Like It Hot.
You saw Sunset Boulevard.
I have seen Sunset Boulevard,
which is, I guess, my personal favorite Billy Wilder movie.
I'm out of the doghouse.
You've seen Sabrina?
I haven't seen Sabrina.
Oh, okay. Well, you're back in the doghouse.
Oh dear.
Did you see The Lost Weekend?
No. See, I just have to pray that the dean of the college isn't listening to this conversation.
Ace in the Hole or 7-Year Itch?
No.
Okay.
But I do have photographs of me where I was doing an episode of a show where I was playing a woman, and when I had my makeup on, but before my wig on, I did look remarkably like Tony Curtis in Some Like It Hot. So I have that going for me.
Okay. Well, I'm sure the students will accept that as an answer. Yeah. Billy Wilder was known for this kind of like, he wasn't a misanthrope, but he was very sardonic, I think, and he had a very kind of grim outlook on humanity, having escaped from Europe right before he was probably going to be taken out by the Nazis. So I think his attitude about life was a little bit darker than most Hollywood directors at the time, and you can see it reflected in stuff. He's just never lets his characters be shiny American perfect people ever. There's always something kind of wrong with them, and the stories are always kind of murky. The morality of stuff is always a little murky. For me, I'll just come right out with it. The only thing for me is occasionally, as wonderful as he is,
Yep, I know exactly where you're going. I'm going to say exactly the same thing.
I want to sometimes just say, Jack, we
Stop.
like you. Everybody likes you. You don't worry about it. Sometimes I think he has like 18 ideas where he really could have 2 or 3 and it'd be fine.
It's
the
the
thing
only
is they're all
thing that doesn't fit in the movie.
Yeah, to me. Now, he's a beloved character, CC Baxter. Jack Lemmon's a beloved, a genius actor. And it's like the thing I have to say is what's remarkable about it is that like those 18 things that he does that are too many things, they're all perfect. Like they're perfectly done. Like as a clown, his work is astounding.
Yes.
I just feel like he feels under this pressure to be cute or adored, or it just was a little much. But
if I was directing this movie, I would have said, Jack, great. Pick 2.
Pick 2 things. Yeah. So I'm glad we're on the same page with that because, I mean, he's a beloved actor, and it feels funny sometimes saying things about beloved performances that are like that. But I just, I can't help it. My thing about this movie is her. She's like a magic act in this film. I think Shirley MacLaine is she's what ties this film together and makes it into something that your heart breaks over. If it weren't for her, I don't think you'd really care nearly as much as you do about what happens.
No, she was a revelation to me because I know all of her later work.
Right, which is very different. She's kind of in a different mode later on. Early on,
she's a little bit jaded and roughed up by life,
a little strident, a little harsh.
Yeah. Do you know who she reminded me of in this movie?
Well, I'm interested to hear what you say because I might know the answer to that, but go ahead.
Somebody we know, we both know.
I often am reminded of Amelia by her. So that's what I get. But
she reminded me of Mom at that time in her career.
Okay, yeah, I can see that too. Yeah, she's if you're not used to seeing her when she was young and starting out and really kind of making a name for herself. I mean, it's so rare to see a performer that young, man or woman.
She's 26 years old.
Hold that camera. She's so self-assured. It's beyond belief.
Yeah.
It's just beyond belief.
It was like Audrey Hepburn in Roman Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's very similar. I thought of Audrey Hepburn too. She's got like this is kind of an American kind of like working class version of that in a way. Because she's so photogenic. It's ridiculous. There are certain shots of her in the movie that are just jaw dropping the way that they photograph her.
Yeah.
She's just beautiful
and what a sense of style she has.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a great star, great actor. And it's a movie full of those like interesting character actors, and everybody's doing really good work.
You got to get your high boots on.
Well, it is raining like crazy. This alert is in Spanish, and my Spanish isn't as good as it was a few years ago. Well, in high school, I should say.
Okay.
And I need to do something about that for sure. But it's still flash flood stuff. We're okay.
All right.
We're okay right now. Thank you for your concern.
But so the other actors, you want to talk about the other actors?
Oh, well, I was just, everybody's very good. It's a good ensemble. It's there. Nobody to me pops more than her. But everybody's wonderfully in service to, and there's just people I always like to see. I mean, Fred MacMurray is a riot to me. He's always just like it's hysterical because he's no one was ever like that in any form, but
And his stillness, the stillness with which he operates, is all the more pronounced in contrast
to Jack Lemmon.
Lemmon bouncing around like a
the twitchiest man in the world. In the world. But you got, Ray Walston, who who Mr. Hand, who doesn't want to see Mr. Hand? It's the greatest. It's just great. There's some wonderful. Jack Crucian. That was a great thing. Jack Crucian in this is wonderful as the doctor who lives next door. And what a sequence that is, right?
Oh my God. The keeping her alive. It's spectacular.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. She does attempt suicide by taking pills.
And spoiler alert, she lives.
She lives. And
Jack Crucian,
you don't know that she will. It is a seriously unnerving sequence. That the movie really pivots there. It's kind of where it becomes a lot more serious overall.
That's what I did not expect. I do want to mention Jack Crucian took me for one of the best Chinese meals I've ever had in Chinatown in San Francisco.
You're a lucky man. That sounds like a fun afternoon.
Yeah. But I had to eat chicken feet. I had never eaten chicken feet before. It was dim sum. Dim sum. You ever had dim sum? Come on. I'm going to take you for some dim sum.
Right.
And I went with him.
You had chicken feet, so
I was 13 and I wasn't going to be shamed.
Dim sum and you lose some, because that chicken feet is not what I want to have.
Yeah. But I wasn't going to be shamed, so I ate them.
You're brave. I should try them sometime. I know there were people swear by them, but it's a little freaky for me.
I didn't swear by them. I swore after having.
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell was that I ate?
Jack Crucian, and I'm trying to find the name of the guy. Here we go. Johnny Seven as Carl Matushka.
Johnny Seven was spectacular.
Love Johnny Seven. I want to see a series of films about him working the docks in New York. Yeah, absolutely. There's also Benny Burt as the bartender and Hal Smith as the drunk Santa. Yes,
fantastic. Wonderful. And also our very favorite Joan Shawley.
Yeah.
As Fred's secretary.
Everywhere we go,
we keep.
This is a film festival. A film festival.
Is this the third Joan Shawley movie we've done?
It is. It's the third. It's the third one, and I think she play slightly tipsy in all of these films.
Yeah, maybe she was slightly tipsy. She has that great moment with the one of my favorite lines with the moments is when she says, where is it? She says, "You mean you bring other girls up here?" And the guy says, "Certainly not. I'm a married man."
Yes. There's some wonderful lines, man. Great bits of little small bits of absurd slapstick comedy too, but like little ones.
Yeah.
I love, my favorite one is is when Fred MacMurray says, you got to keep this quiet. Do you know what this would look like if this ever leaked out? At which point Jack Lemmon has this nasal spray that he's been because he's got a flu. He says, if this ever leaked out, and he just goes, and it squirts across the room. Little tiny things like that.
Do you know what they did with that nasal spray? Because it's so clear when it squirts.
No.
It was filled with milk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what Hitchcock would have done.
Yeah. So you really see the spray coming out of it.
I will confess that this is the first time this has happened. I finished watching the movie like literally 15 minutes before showtime.
Oh, really? Oh, that's funny because I finished it almost 2 weeks ago.
So we're on completely different
timelines with it. I'm struggling to remember it because, I can't, my short-term memory is completely gone.
Well, you seem to like it.
I don't even remember the beginning of this show right now.
Oh, that's too far away for me.
Yeah. I also, that Billy Wilder, you're mentioning the slapstick comedy that Wilder compared Lemmon to Chaplin.
I'm not surprised. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can see that. I can see them actually kind of pushing that in this movie. Like, maybe that was, I mean, Jack Lemmon was always kind of big. I prefer a slightly more reined in Jack Lemmon. I mean, I love it like when he's in, what is it, the China Syndrome Jack Lemmon. Like, I think he can really make a huge impact when he reins all that energy in.
Or Glengarry.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
So I wonder, that's interesting. I wonder if that was partly Billy Wilder like pushing that Chaplin-esque kind of clownish stuff.
Well, and I also would imagine that has some impact on the choice of the bowler hat throughout.
God, yeah, that would make sense.
Because they did write so much of this on the fly. This movie,
did they?
Yeah, they wrote a lot of it on the fly, and he gave Lemmon a lot of leeway to come up with things. Oh, you have frozen. Oh dear. This is not good. I wonder what we're going to do. I wonder if it has to do with the storm that they're having back there. Oh, no, wait, he's coming back. I'm hoping you're coming back. Because there's a big storm where Tony is right now. So it looks like the broadcast has been. Are you back now? No.
Am I back? Can you see
back.
me?
Oh, okay. You're calling me. Now I can see you. It must be because of the storm.
Yeah, we're having a really bad thunderstorm right now.
I talked. I vamped. I said very uninteresting things while you were gone.
If we lose internet here in Brooklyn, I'll just call you and you can put me on speakerphone and continue the show.
And we can keep talking. Okay, we'll do that. Another favorite. If we talked about some favorite. One of my favorite lines. I want to hear some of yours, but one of my other favorite lines, favorite moments, was when the affair between Shirley MacLaine.
Totally breaking up now. This is a disaster. I can't hear anything.
It's horrible.
Oh, this is turning into an episode of Doctor Who.
I can hear you perfectly. Do you want to call me?
Total disaster.
I'm going to call my brother and put him on speaker. I'm going to put him on speakerphone. I'm calling him, putting him on speakerphone, and we'll continue the show this way. See if he picks up. This is so sad. He's not even picking up. Oh my gosh. Well, we might have to continue this discussion next week.
Hi, this is Tony. Please leave a message.
Well, I'm calling you to try and do the show on speakerphone, but maybe everything's been knocked out in New York. Hello there. I just tried to call you.
Oh, okay. Well, I have lost all connectivity.
Oh, wow. Well,
I'm looking here. Let me see. Are we still doing a show?
I believe the show is still being recorded, and I have you on speaker.
I have no internet whatsoever.
Well, I've got you. I'm still recording, and I have you on speakerphone, and I have the phone right next to the mic, so we could keep going, or we could just reconvene another time and finish this episode.
Well, that's true. I'm trying to think about. Well, hold on one second. You need something?
Oh, I was wondering what happened.
I'm offline, but I'm still doing the show on speakerphone. Just a little bit jerry-rigged right now. Well, do you have any brilliant ideas?
Well, the sound isn't that good coming through the phone, so I think maybe
No,
we
it's
should
terrible.
say goodnight. And
Okay, so this is part one.
this is part one, and when we reconvene, we will finish our discussion of the apartment.
Okay.
All right.
Do another Billy Wilder movie or something? Plus that.
Yeah. Which one do you want to do?
Well, why don't we see Something Like It Hot?
All right. We'll see Some Like It Hot for next week. Part 2 of Billy Wilder, and we will finish up our discussion of the apartment, and we will discuss Some Like It Hot. So thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we're sorry about the technical difficulties, but that's what happens in the world of live.
What's going on? I'll try not to get swept away.
All right.
Have a good evening, sir.
All right. We're signing off. So have a good night, everybody.